Today we're talking about content and specifically on how not to make content too complex. So I know a lot of companies hire lots of content people, they create, and you're always pumping things out. But one of the things that I see is that volume is valued over the quality of the content, and that can lead you down a bad path. So what I'm covering today is specifically on how to decomplex your content strategy, and I have a couple of tips to share on that. In this day and age, we are bombarded with content. If you're on any social media platform like Instagram, TikTok, even Facebook, like there is, and even LinkedIn, there is tons of content coming at you. You're constantly scrolling through things, and it's hard to figure out what works and what doesn't. So in order to make sure that you understand what you need to do for your organization, let's walk through a couple of tips. And I think that this may help you streamline what you're doing from a content strategy, and help you put things out that will get you the attention that you want, that'll educate your customers, and that will simplify all of the work that you need to do and chasing numbers all the time. So first of all, it's not about the volume. So this may be like, whoa, it is about the volume. We want a lot of content out there, but it's not. Customers want, or prospective customers, however you want to classify them. When I say customers, I mean potential ones and existing ones, is that they want good quality. If you're just putting content out there that doesn't speak to their problems, to the things that they're trying to solve, to the concerns that are top of mind for them, that's not quality content. It's just fluff. And so you want to do away with the fluff and get to the actual quality of that. And so that takes time. If you're putting out quality, you may have to put out fewer pieces, but they're better pieces at the end of the day, because you want to spend a lot of time really diving into, is this answering their questions? Is it quality checked against, if you want to vet that against one of your customers, that takes time to get review and feedback back from them. So make it less about volume, about hitting a certain number per week or month or whatever that is, and focus on the quality, because that will get you a higher ROI with your audience. I would also suggest create a single high investment, high visibility piece. And this means that you're going to be spending a lot more time putting it together. You're going to need to vet out what the topic needs to be, what the content will be, who are you sourcing for creating that content and that copy, and making sure that it's meticulous. And the reason I say this is because one quality piece that you can hang your hat on, such as, like if you're looking at a big data report, or you're doing a for dummies asset for your company. Those are high return pieces that take quite a long time to derive or to create. And you want to make sure that that's also going to set you up from a content perspective for a long period of time. It's something that you can come back to again and again and again. Maybe for a report itself where there's data concentrated on a specific period of time, that's not going to get you maybe the longevity of, say, a For Dummies guide, because a For Dummies guide can live on and on and on and on. But invest in the time to figure out what that piece will be, and a lot of your content strategy can come straight from that piece. So the next step is to brainstorm, while you're putting that high investment piece together, brainstorm the various pieces that will be derived from that single piece. So what I mean is, if you do put out a data report and it has lots of content in there about, what you're seeing from a customer perspective, from the audience, you've surveyed somebody, use those pieces in videos to set up webinar abstracts and what the webinar will look like. Put little pieces of videos together. You can create a long video and then chop that up and have, 20 pieces of content there. This goes back to the volume piece, is that you're creating a lot from one piece. So it's not like you're creating standalone pieces of content. They all roll up to a specific theme and to that piece that you're trying to promote. So brainstorm those pieces, blogs, articles that you could push to press, and make sure that you are also, any piece that you derive from that piece of content, that the CTA goes back to the asset that you are trying to promote, that single asset that you just created, because that's going to get you the most traction. It adds as a lead magnet for those of you who care about gating content, and it gets you a lot of longevity over a long period of time. Also, the next tip is don't shy away from non-polished content. What I mean by this is that most organizations focus their attention on creating pieces that are completely polished. They have to be developed by a professional. They have to be edited by a professional. It looks like, a mini movie, or, it was like it's been edited to look like it's just such a high quality piece of content. But the bad thing about that is, and you should have these pieces absolutely, if especially for branding purposes and getting certain messages out. But if you weigh it against something that is not so polished, because the polished pieces take a lot of time to conceptualize, to storyboard, to edit, to record, to do all of those things that go into it. So they tend to be longer term projects. And you also want to balance that with things that are more non-polished. And what I mean is, like, create something on iMovie or an iPhone, or take pictures of something with your camera. These types of assets that are quick to record, quick to edit, quick to put up, they're also more authentic because they don't have that polish. And people buy from people, so they want to see the voice, they want to see the person. And because we see so much of this in our social media accounts and communications, it comes across as more authentic. And if you want to be authentic to your audience, you need to have authentic content. And that means oftentimes that it's not polished, and it's fine. People don't have those expectations. I think that businesses have those expectations of themselves, but if they put themselves in the shoes of their customers, those customers don't have that expectation, because they're looking for the value of the content they're getting from the piece that you put out, not necessarily the finish. The next tip I have is reuse over time. So dive back into your archives of content, resurface that, especially if it's not super timely stuff, but the meat of it stands on its own two legs over time. You can reuse that and reuse that and reuse that, because if you've seen my previous blogs, you know that it often takes 15 touch points for someone to have your company be part of their evoked set. So at no time, like when you publish something on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, it's very unlikely that your entire audience is going to see that post. It's just the fact. And so if you, as we're scrolling through things, as we're reading articles, things come and go, and people are busy. They're doing other things. They may not see your content all the time. So resurfacing things and putting it back out there over and over again, it's a higher likelihood that you're going to hit a broader aspect of your target audience at any given time. So reuse, 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 recycle, reuse. The last one is use. The one thing that I see that people don't use enough of is the data that they have in-house, and to create some content. So it may be that you have a product that you're measuring telemetry and usage for your audience, and you don't even realize that's like a gold mine of content that you can publish, that you can put out. So you never want to obviously disclose who your customers are, or what the use case, or the specific use case that a customer is using. But if you have general data that you can analyze and come away with some assumptions, that's going to be great fodder for content. So don't forget about looking in for content. You don't always have to go out and do a survey and survey your customers. You may have data right in-house that is valuable for people to digest and use and leverage for their own purposes. So use that content, get the attention you want, and make sure that everybody is seeing it. You reuse, recycle, and be very cognizant of what people are seeing. So those are my tips. If you have any questions or you have dissenting ideas, please let me know. Content is king. It will live forever. It's also feels like it's gaining traction more and more and more in out there, and people are putting more value on the content that companies put out. So don't make it as complex as it needs to be, and I hope you have a great day.